The fallout from Anthony Albanese's White House meeting yesterday is quite extraordinary. I mean, there was this bit I highlighted yesterday.
I think he's doing a really good job, and we've had a very good relationship. I don't want to compare one with the other, but I'll tell you, this one is, they really have a great Prime Minister.
Thank you. I'll use it in my ads in 28.
Now, I pointed out that hypocrisy of that yesterday because Albanese's been a Trump critic for years and successfully tied the coalition to Trump as a negative at this year's election. Yet this morning he made it sound like a bromance.
You look like you were
President
mates.
Trump, I think, enjoyed the conversation. Yeah, well, we get on and we've had fantastic warm discussions over the phone. We've talked through issues and I was very confident that the meeting would go extremely well.
Yeah.
I got a very warm invitation from him and things are good, and that is in Australia's national interest.
Yeah.
The United States is an important ally and friend.
So they're mates now, and he's used this as an election endorsement. Here's a reminder of the lead up to this year's election, where Trump was like Voldemort, the ogre who should not be named.
Doji Dutton always takes his instructions, his cues, his policies from the US. We stand up for Australia's national interest.
Peter Dutton's campaign to be Prime Minister is just a cut and paste from the United States. First he cut and paste their policies, now he's cutting and pasting their slogans.
The future we want is not an American-style wages system, not American levels of student debt, and never, ever American health care.
Meeting economic madness with economic madness. Taking his cues straight from the United States, with one Doji disaster after another.
We're going to have the Doge-style cuts being taken right through the public service.
We've got an opposition leader and an opposition, which is absolutely full of these kind of Doji sycophants who have hitched their wagon to American-style slogans and policies and especially cuts, which would make Australians worse off.
They thought they could have a Doge-style campaign and that it would work for them.
Yeah, but now Albanese is so close to Trump, he says, that he was able to bed down all the angst of Kevin Rudd's Trump bashing and the backlash from the president yesterday.
Yeah, well, the president said it was as people were walking out the journos, President Trump said, he said he looks like a good guy, or something like a nice guy, and I said, he is a nice guy, he's terrific, something like that, and he said, all is forgiven. Kevin said, yeah, well, sorry. Like, it was just, it was no big deal.
Sounds a bit flippant.
No
Sounds like it's a family barbecue.
Yeah, exactly.
OK, then. Fair enough.
Fair enough. But the pile-on against Rudd has caused a few problems for the opposition leader now. Talk about grabbing the wrong end of the stick. I mentioned yesterday that while Rudd was a bad appointment, it was probably too late to talk about dumping him from Washington now.
I don't believe he should stay in that role, and to see the Prime Minister actually laughing at his own ambassador in the room when the President made a joke, I think it's untenable.
Then we showed you how former Prime Minister Tony Abbott gave Rudd a reprieve.
Kevin and I have had our differences, but I think that he's done a good job for Australia in Washington. The critical minerals deal is very much a result of Kevin Rudd's hard work, and good on Kevin for doing it.
Also on this program last night, another Liberal frontbencher was a little more circumspect. Do you think that Kevin Rudd should keep his job as US ambassador first up, or be brought back home?
If I were the Prime Minister and had to endure that, and I think he was putting on a bit of a fake laugh, I suspect he might look at ways of moving the ambassador on in due course without it looking like a knee-jerk response to what was a terrible situation.
And today, a backbencher went further.
I think, though, that the call for Kevin Rudd to resign or stand down, the call for his position to be untenable now, is probably a little bit churlish. The idea that he would step away from the job now, I think, is it wouldn't serve us well.
Do you think it was a little bit intemperate for Susan Lee and others to call for his resignation?
Look, I don't think that there's any need here to behave in a way that would be considered churlish. We should be acknowledging the good work that has been done.
Which all tends to leave the opposition leader and her sack Rudd call sitting out there on her own.
I welcome all the comments from my talented backbench, and I know, like me, that they are focused on the real bread and butter issues that matter to our small businesses, to our households, to our families.
And I'll tell you what, if Lee got that wrong, and I think she did, I have to admit that I got one wrong yesterday too. I said that after the slapdown from Trump, Rudd might go quiet on social media for a while. But you can't keep this self-promoter down. Have a look at this.
Prime Minister, you've had an extraordinary day yesterday. The President backing in AUKUS, the endorsement of the Critical Minerals and Rare Earths Framework Agreement between Australia and the United States, which will be transformational, as well as sheer volume of inbound investment into this country.
We have no greater ally or partner than Australia.
It was a great day in terms of the alliance.
We stand together. It's been a fantastic visit, I've got to say, and I am overwhelmed by the extraordinary turnout which is here today.
Wow, it seems Kevin Rudd has saved the alliance single-handedly. He's from Queensland and he's here to save the day. I can't wait for the next edition of his autobiography.